There was an old timer who was shooting, and I was all excited. I got my bow, and I said, "Oh, Byron, I got my bow today." And he said, "Oh, great, now spend the rest of your life learning how to shoot it."
How long have I been doing archery? I've been doing archery for 8 years now.
How long? I've been shooting archery for 8 years or so.
I've been doing archery for about 4 years.
I've been doing archery for about 13 years.
20 years.
20 years, okay.
One day I was at the range and somebody let me try out a bow. And I had seen it in like cartoons and certain kinds of movies and things and thought it would be, that actually kind of grabbed me when I was watching movies and you'd see it and thought it'd be kind of fun to try it.
Coming into archery, my husband has been shooting bow and arrow since he was a kid. And when I met him, he asked me if I'd like to go to the range, and I did, and that's how I got into archery.
It's fun for me. It's not just, it's two things. One is sport. You can see yourself where you're shooting on a target. And the second is I eventually want to go hunting eventually.
I just like the flight of the arrow, and I like I like seeing the arrow in flight, and I like hitting the mark from a distance.
Essentially, it's difficult there's a lot of different parts and pieces to how you're standing, to how you release, and you got to incorporate all that. If you're off just by a little bit, it messes you up. So it's a pretty physical and mental activity.
Form. Practice form.
The way you stand.
The way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you draw, the way you look at your target. They all have to be done the same way.
Accuracy is what I would concentrate on. I think about my form. But for the most part, I think I like to enjoy being outdoor and being out there. But, you know, I try my best to 5 out of 6 to do well.
Well, it's one thing if somebody tells you how to stand. If you know, stand with your feet this many inches apart, and make sure that you put your nose here, and make sure that you put your kisser button here, so that right in the corner of your mouth. You can remember all those things, but for me, it's more of I don't know. This is kind of a weird answer, but I kind of visualize where I want to put the arrow. There you go. Focus on my breathing, just try to relax. And when you're out on the range, not so much here indoors, but when you're outside, it's a relaxing kind of a thing. You know, you're out in nature, you're walking around, and it's kind of I don't know if we want to say spiritual kind of a thing, but yeah, you definitely have to put your mind somewhere else. Fun.
Fun?
For me, it's fun. It's just a fun kind of thing to mess around with.
Fun. Why is it fun? It's fun because you get to go out on the field and have a different experience every time. Okay. Every target you shoot is different. The conditions are always different, so nothing really gets old.
I think you're always learning. You know, I think you're always learning about the sport. I don't think there's a peak out of it.
No matter what level of archery you're at, you could always go to a higher level. I don't think it'll ever be mastered per se. It can't be done. There's too many variables.
Oh no, I don't think it's. I mean, I think that I'm good in some aspects, but really bad in others. Archery is something where you can always learn something more. No matter how much you think you've learned, you can always learn from somebody else who's been doing it longer, or somebody who specializes in something different. Another thing too is that once you've learned a bunch of stuff, it's nice to share with others that don't, you know, people who are just starting to get into it. Be able to share that with them too. So, no. I guess that's the answer.